it has now been decided that going forward, no officer who has served for more than 3 years should remain in the station they are serving. The signal went out 2 weeks ago, the day when the Task Force on Police Reforms presented their progress report to the President. And now it's part of the policy reforms that we have initiated, and we are expecting, we have given the police command a maximum of 60 days to make sure that all officers countrywide who have stayed for more than 3 years, not 5, must be transferred. Number 2, on the question of involvement of politicians in the appointment of chiefs and assistant chiefs, I agree. And I hope that the proposal by Senator Dulo is in sync with the proposal by the chairman of the Senate Security Committee, because the senator for Baringo, who is the chair of the Security Committee, recommended that there is need for public involvement, public participation in hiring of chiefs. But I don't think public involvement means involvement or meddling by politicians. It just means that the politicians, like everybody else, can also give their views, but the decision remains the decision of government. And I know what the Senator Dulo is pursuing is the actual meddling, where a politician wants to decide who becomes a chief. That is wrong. What we should encourage is public participation, including the participation of leaders, because they also have views, but the decision should perhaps involve more people. So those are some of the policy proposals that we are willing to look at. But on the 3-year transfer is mandatory. In fact, the directive by the government is that any officer after the 60 days who continues to resist or for whatever reason does not move to a new station, the salary will be stopped. It is that serious. And for those doing sensitive operations, normally we move them after 1 year, because the kinetic work and operations they engage in are extremely demanding. After 1 year, we rotate them so that they serve, even if it's within the same sensitive operations, but in a different station every year. But for general police duties, 3 years you must move. If you don't move, we'll stop your salary. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is true we have lost officers in the line of duty. And some of them have been lost in the counter-terrorism efforts. Others have been lost in the counter-banditry efforts. Others have been lost in the fight in urban crime. Just this weekend, we lost an officer, I think yesterday, who, in the company of 2 other colleagues, had cornered a dangerously armed thug. They managed to neutralize the thug, but the thug shot 3 officers and 1 of them succumbed yesterday. Last year, we lost a total of 58 National Police Service officers countrywide in all these dangerous operations. As to the question whether we send recruits to dangerous missions, the answer is no. We have reserved the deployment of officers in complicated security operations, those that involve the fight against terror, bandits, and other dangerous criminals, to elite units within the National Police Service. So it's not about age of the officer. It is the training of the officer that determines the deployment. because you can have a very experienced officer but has no exposure, has no training to handle sophisticated crime. So the age of the officer should not be the problem. You can have a 27-year-old, but they were recruited very early after Kiganjo or APTC and taken to serious counter-terrorism training. It could be 24, 25, but that is the best we have for that effort. So the age should not be a worry. What should be a worry for us as a nation is the loss of our officers in the hands of criminals. I have committed on behalf of government that we shall go out of our way to minimize casualties on our side. So far, in Operation Maliza Uhalifu, we have not had many casualties. We've not had casualties, so to speak. The solution is the 25 billion police equipment modernization program, which has already been completed and the deliveries have started trickling in. And I want to assure the country, in the coming weeks and months, we will turn around the story around terror. And it will be impossible. It will be difficult, if not impossible, for criminals to be able to fell down our officers. We'll make it extremely difficult. But as happens in war, casualties are part of the issue, but we'll minimize them going forward. Better equipment, which includes air equipment or air assets, personal protection equipment, and also the increasing use of unarmed vehicles, aerial vehicles, UAVs, commonly known as drones, to minimize physical contact. Going forward, we will turn around the story and we'll have less officers being felled by the fire of terrorists and dangerous criminals. The NPRs continue to do a great job in securing the communities from where they come from. At the moment, we give them a token of 5,000 shillings a month, which has been described as inadequate, and we agree it's inadequate, but because of budgetary constraints, it has not been able to review that allowance forward. We are actually fighting to have it released timeously, because sometimes it has been taken 2-3 months before it is released, before we can even thinking of reviewing it upwards. But I'm a great supporter, as the security minister, I'm a great supporter of enhanced allowances for NPRs. We are also looking at the permutations to see whether we, this financial year, can put the NPRs on NHIF medical cover so that to improve on their welfare.
Thank you, Honorable.